Oh my god. So hot.
What's new in the tech space? Balanyo Elephant, introduce yourself. You know the tradition.
Yeah.
Tell us what you do. Um, yeah, your name.
Right. So my name is Fatoumata Danso.
Mm-hmm.
I work at Go Mines as a data scientist, analyst, and recently an AI researcher.
AI.
Yeah.
Were you AI the last time too?
Yes.
Or you've kind of, because whenever I see your posts, it's like you're into something new.
Okay, my name is Ndei Sambu. I'm a data analyst at Government, an AI researcher, and then a junior AI engineer.
All right. Okay. Junior AI engineer.
Yeah, yes.
Junior AI engineer. Okay.
Just
All right. I will come back to you.
All right.
Mr. Babukar,
Yes. Okay.
the man himself.
You said Babukar already. Should I introduce myself?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Okay. All right. My name is Babukar Njai, and I'm the founder of Outboost Media Analytics. So we're an ad tech agency in the advertising, marketing, and branding space, utilizing technology to help our clients go to market.
Nice.
And my name
I
is.
don't know you, bro.
Fine. Anyways, my name is Ibrahim Majalo. I'm a YouTuber, videographer, and also an actor.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It seems like we have a very diverse
I was just about to say.
panel today, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we want to dive a little bit about technology and where Gambia is in the picture of, tech and the timeline, where we are we, if you look at the early 2000s, late 90s, technology came late here. We're still using black and white TVs when the rest of the world were using color TVs. So are we in that same, position again where tech has gone so far that we have no idea where it is, talk less of catching up? Anyone, we're having a discussion. This is not an interview, it's not a question answer session, it's just a conversation.
I can start. So basically, back in the day, we had something called industrialization. So we moved from carts, horse carts, donkey carts, and we went to railways, and then now we have cars, then we have airplanes, we have rockets going all the way to moon. In the West, it has been a very transitional phase whereby it's going step by step. But in Africa, it's very different, right? For example, here we still have people driving donkey carts, and then we have some people on the other side of the building using AI, right? So it's like, Africa just has that opportunity to just spin things off depending on what they're exposed.
That's actually amazing. I just clocked it.
Yeah.
A donkey cart, and then the next wall, someone using AI.
Exactly.
It does sound it's a very diverse environment, but it's also because of circumstance.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have donkey carts in the streets and AI analytics in a building. But then it comes down to the economy. There's multiple factors that you factor into why that is the case in terms of diversity. But as a country, in terms of where we are in technology, how much of it are we utilizing to develop the economy, in business? Just a general awareness of, I mean, AI. The last time we had the interview we had on AI, then and now, it's like it's night and day, right? Now you're having there's so many AI coming out that I'm losing track of what is happening, because you have Grok, you have ChatGPT, you have what are the other ones,
Yeah,
right? There's just so many, right?
Sure.
In this madness, this web of AI madness, like what are some of the things that we need to focus on? Because then again, a technology boom means there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of copycats. There's a lot of there are a lot of options. So like, what are some of the trends we should be focusing on? Like in your estimate, what do you think?
Well, personally, I think the problem that we face right now is infrastructure.
Right.
We are talking about the most recent technological advancement that the world has ever seen. That is artificial intelligence. How do we catch up when we don't even have a constant and effective supply of electricity?
Right.
When our internet is not even reliable and it is costly on top of that. So these are the basic infrastructures that is built on top of AI. There's nothing like artificial intelligence without electricity. There's nothing like artificial intelligence without the internet. So these are the things that we need to put in order first, in the sense that it is going to be affordable for anyone and everyone. Because you cannot just have a few number of people having abundant access to these stuffs when sometimes they are not even aware of the technological advancement that is happening out there. But then you have people, youngsters, that are aware of these stuffs. They have ideas, brilliant ideas to solve real problems, right? Using these technologies, but then they lack their infrastructures. Not just infrastructures, the policies that we have are not even in place. We don't even have a roadmap for technology in this country. As we speak in Sierra Leone, they have a 10 years roadmap of artificial intelligence and blockchain, and they are working towards that. They are even starting in the educational sectors. So even in schools, curriculums have to change because the world is just far ahead of us. How do we catch up? We had this discussion last time. Do we follow the traditional way or do we leapfrog?
Right.
At this point, we cannot follow the traditional way. We have to come up with strategies that can at least mitigate some of these issues that we are facing, at the same time catching up with where these developments are going to.
Right. I don't know if anyone has seen the new supercomputer cluster Elon has
The
built.
Colossus?
Tell us about it, man. That shit is amazing.
Yeah, so it's basically a supercomputer, and then it is there to power XAI. So we know that Elon Musk came up with his own AI company and he called it XAI. I don't know why the guy is so obsessed with the letter X.
I can give you a background story on it, but
Okay, we can do that off record.
yeah. No, I mean on record, because I think it might be helpful for people to know
Yeah.
as to why Elon is so obsessed with the letter X. But here there's a bigger vision with the letter X. I don't know if you've heard of WeChat.
Yes.
You know WeChat, right? You know WeChat. He has something similar in mind, and he tried that. PayPal was X.com. This started a long time ago. He has an idea where he will create a system, like a system that can do all things. That can be a social media app. It will be a banking app. It would be an AI app. Now it will be a super app. Let's just put it like that. And X Corp would incorporate all of that. This is why he's obsessed with the X. Letter. There's a bigger vision to that. It's not just XAI changing Twitter handle to X. There's like a bigger stuff happening with the letter, and where he is hoping to be at some point.
And psychologically as well, X in mathematics.
Right.
X can represent anything.
Right.
Anything,
Exactly.
So I guess it all starts from a basic concept to what he's thinking about. Sometimes the most complicated things actually are built on something so simple.
Right.
So that's why it's really no need to overcomplicate things sometimes.
No, I like his philosophy on first principles. Is it first
Yeah.
principle or basic? What is it called again?
Yeah, it's just the first
I think
principle.
first principles, right?
Drilling down to the basic physics of a problem.
Yes, and is that something that we apply in Gambia in our tech space, or just in general?
In the tech space, Gambia tech space is quite small and it's new.
How is it? How's the tech space like? Because in the video I will tell you how the creative space is like.
Right.
But
So, funny enough, I'm into the tech space, but I'm also into the creative space as well.
Right, you're a hybrid.
Right, technically.
So capture all our
so for me, I see a lot of gaps because being in the advertising space and the marketing space, you get clients from all industries, from mining to construction, and everybody will come to you to tell you their problems. So we harvest this data to make decisions. That's how most of our products were built. Because when you look at Outboost, we started with taxi advertising. But then we started taxi advertising, and then we realized that some of our customer social media pages are not performing well. They're not using the data that they have, the analytics that they have to make decisions to run better ads. Their website are not SEO optimized, is not properly managed, so people are not seeing their sites. The content on the site is horrible. Google is not seeing it because Google has bots that go into the site and pick it up so they can rank it up. Right? So organizations, when they're thinking about tech, they need to think about working with the right tech people. People who know the stuff, not people who just know surface level, right? So this is one of the problems, because what happens is the big institutions that probably needs these technologies the most end up with the wrong people, and they don't end up applying the right technology in the right places, being it the government, being it some of the private institutions that we have. Because now tech is so broad. You have ed tech, you have legal tech, you have health tech. So you have tech in every space. So the reason why we are not probably growing as fast as we're supposed to is because we're not using the right systems in the right places, and it's not being built and developed by the right people. So this is some of the basic things. That's why.
Do we have the capacity to, like, in terms of the talent? Do we have it?
Yeah, we do, surprisingly. It's starting to grow though, because famous reference here is Asutech, right? Everybody knows Asutech. Right. I found Asutech here in the in Gambia, and I learned so much about the things that he has done. Do we value our people as much as we're supposed to? That's a big question, because some of them would rather spend technology money, millions of dollars, outside than to a Gambian. What's the reason for that? So maybe some of you can explore.
Play devil's advocate a little bit. Do you also think it's because of this? We know there's a lot of half-baked individuals, like you said earlier. You're giving it to the wrong people that end up delivering something that is not up to standard. Do you think maybe because of the experience with so many different individuals, that companies or Gambian, like you kind of develop this mentality that you won't be able to find it here, it has to be outside?
The reason why this is mainly happening is that in Gambia, people think individualistically. In technology, in creative, collaboration is very important. For example, we are in the ad tech space, but we partner with hardcore software development companies when we attract big businesses, right? So we have MOUs whereby we look for business. If we can't do it, or we just can do just one phase of it, then we contract it. And these are Gambian companies. So we actually have validated MOUs with some Gambian companies that are doing really well here. An example is Kayor, Keba Sise. I don't know if you know him, but a couple of years ago, we built this revenue collection platform for BCC on a pilot with UNDP. And it was a very interesting project, because it allowed market vendors to have like a card, like a PVC card, and then the collectors would just go with a device, and then they'll just scan the card, and then they'll see if that person has paid or how much they're supposed to pay. So collection is on point. So you be at the office, and then you see the dashboard that Zone A was collected, Zone B was collected. So these things worked because of collaboration, because there's a data entry part of things. There's a, change management aspect part of it. You had to go and educate them first about what they're going into so that they trust it. Because sometimes when you bring technology, people afraid to move into technology because why? They don't know what it entails, the benefits of it. Technology boosts efficiency in everything. So education, collaboration, being open-minded about working with other Gambians could go a long way, because it means that if we came as a force, there would be no technology contracts that would go outside.
Right.
Things like as basic as a mobile app for example, maybe the ferries or whatever.
Right. That is a bare minimum. I mean, even kids in India in some village in their schools developing apps.
Yeah.
It's an exaggeration. I don't know for a fact, so please don't quote
But
me.
to add on to what he said about the tech space in the Gambia, I also think we are more of talks and less of work.
Agreed.
We have bunch of people advocating for tech, but very quite few that are actually building the real stuff. That is one thing. Another thing is instant gratification. You don't just build a software application and you think it's going to boom within the next few months.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. And then this thing of constant integration, constant development, because CI/CD in tech. Gambians, we don't do that. We have people with the talent. The talent is there, not in a huge amount though, but we have quite a few that are very talented in what they do, especially when it comes to building codes. They'll have brilliant ideas, but then how long can they stick to this idea that they have and then see through it that this is going to be pushed and is going to be adapted?
So there's a commitment issue.
Commitment issue.
Commitment,
persistence.
discipline.
Exactly.
So, I mean, thinking about AI and what, Elon and the likes are trying to do, how long is it going to take until programmers are completely going to be obsolete? I'm not I'm not a developer, but I see this coming.
Yes.
That's yesterday. That's yesterday's news.
Look at yesterday's news, and we're talking about it now.
Yeah, that's
But then-
news.
I mean, there will be certain specialized areas that humans will still occupy,
Exactly.
but also that just give it time, I think. I mean, now with the Optimus robot, right? I watched the whole keynote, and I was thinking to myself, this is amazing. Imagine me buying a robot and I could just shoot projects and be like, bro, edit it.
Yeah.
Right? I give it, specific parameters on how I want it done. Ibrahim here, they're going to be in trouble.
Talking about that parameters that you're talking about, the AI is generally good, but it's even better when you understand your field.
Yes.
Right? If you're a creative, for
Yes.
example, you're an actor, right? You can create scripts with AI because you know what B-rolls are, you know what this is, you know what that is.
That is, yeah.
Maybe I may not know how to shoot a video. So if I prompted it to create a script for me at the beach, I would just stick to that. But then you can tell the AI to do more because of your experience.
Yeah.
So to say that AI is going to kill careers, so I don't think it's really valid. But it's only valid if you're not open-minded and willing to learn and try new things.
100%.
The thing is that with AI, you can learn from it, and you can use it as whatever they give you. Example, me personally, when I started, I couldn't write a script. I have a partner who often writes script. He always tell me, Chase, all right. I'm like, nah, I'm not built for this. So, but with AI, I can actually have a story, but I don't know how to start. So I would just go to AI and command them, hey, this is the scene I want. This is the story I have, a girl and a boy, this and that. I want you to create something out of it. You understand? So AI will give me that in a second. I will read, it will make sense, but it will make sense. It will make sense in a way that as a Gambian, I think I have to work on it now. I can actually print it out or copy and paste it on my Microsoft Word, start making changes. And based on making those changes, next time you don't even need to ask AI to write a script for you. AI already did it for the first time, and seeing that, you learn from it. So it's like next time when you are doing it, you know how to start. You understand what I mean? Me personally, AI really helps me. You understand? You either use it the good way or the bad way. Me personally, I use it the good way.
Yeah.
He's talking about the infrastructure that AI builds for you. For example, if he's an actor, there's a certain way actors would write a script when in terms of when it comes to like body structure,
structure of
starting,
it,
like
yeah.
all of that stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
So when you know those basic things, then you could actually operate in that way. So it's basically processes. That's why every business has a process. With the process, even if a newcomer comes in and then they see the process, you don't need to train them for 20 days.
Right.
They'll just see it. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's
the
what
AIs
he-
are literally trained. That's what they
Exactly.
give. I mean, it's even amazing with what he's saying. You don't even need to know the structure. You just need to have a story in mind and
Yeah.
tell it, I want this structure.
Yeah.
It knows how to structure it
How
for
to
you because
structure
it's a
it
script you're
based on the
prompting
industry. Yep.
for it to do for you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that
and
knowing
then,
how to structure, that is where domain knowledge and expertise comes into play.
Right.
So let's say for
Please
programmers.
elaborate on what that means.
So let's say for domain expertise is just you having experience and so much time, like you have so much time getting to learn something and then so much time working on it that you become an expert into
Right.
it.
10,000 hours.
Right. Right.
Right. So let's say, for example, last week I was with this one. He's a young Gambian YouTuber. So we were talking about AI. And then he told me this: go to ChatGPT on your phone and ask it to generate a picture. I just went to ChatGPT, generated a picture of a girl.
Oh,
in
it
a
generates
hijab.
pictures now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It does.
4.0.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So generate a
Okay.
picture with a girl in a hijab. So
Nate, why didn't you tell us, boy? You should be on top of this, man.
I just give it a basic prompt,
Right.
right? And it generated a picture. He was like, okay, watch. This guy prompted because he is a videographer. He knows these whole stuff. When he prompted and when ChatGPT generated the image compared to the image that it generated for me, it was so far off. The qualities, you can't even compare it. That was where it clicked. I was like, this is where domain expertise comes into play. If you're a programmer, you want to use ChatGPT, you can use it at its best. But not someone that graduates from high school, for example, and be like, I'm not going to study programming because we have ChatGPT. It's not going to be the same. So that is why the domain expertise part becomes important.
But
So
would
the
it-
question of will AI, eliminate all of the programmers? No. It is going to eliminate programmers that are not willing to adapt
The majority.
technology, and that is going to be the majority.
So you still have a lot of people who lose their they lose their careers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in my understanding, with when it comes to AI, it is a tool, just like how we move from a typewriter to a laptop. I mean, a typewriter to this huge desktop with a keyboard, and then to a laptop. There's always been pockets of evolution in time, and it's either you embrace it or you get left behind. But if you're choosing to stay in time and be left behind, that's a choice, because there's a lot of people that be like, I never want to use AI, because it makes me dumb or it makes me whatever. Me using a laptop doesn't make me dumb. I think it makes me even more sharp.
Efficient.
It makes me more efficient, right? So, but in my estimate, where I'm seeing, when it comes to programmers learning programming languages, because this guy did say, NVIDIA, what is his name? Jensen Ho, yeah. He said it's going to get to a point where to program you'd actually use simple language like English. You just type, I want this done, and then the machine does it for you. So is it going to get to a point where the curriculums would have to change?
It should have changed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because the reason why AI exists is because those people were taught AI so many years ago. We did not even know what AI was.
Right.
When
I
I
mean, it's
was
not a
in-
new concept.
Yeah, when I was in grade 9, for example, if you told me what AI is, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
right? Changing a curriculum, surprisingly, people say that, people need to change curriculum, but it's actually a very complex process.
Tell us about it, man, because I
Okay.
do want to know about it. I mean, how difficult can it be?
Okay, so when you're young, let's say you're 2 or 3 years, you're going to kindergarten, right? I'm talking about Gambian mentality, right? You go to a normal Gambian school. What you do in the morning, you drink your your Ovaltine in the morning, and then maybe you sleep 2 hours. You wake up, they teach you ABC, and then after that, they're like, okay, this is 1, 2, 3. it should be a way where like kindergartens are actually using technology from day one. Okay, understanding how technology was built, understanding what the context in the world that they're in. For example, instead of just teaching them ABC, like they could tell them, okay, instead of writing it now, just you can write it, but also you can use technology. And this is what this technology was made of. Throughout, while they're growing, from kindergarten to primary school to all of these things. But that also means that the teachers, we need more teachers.
Right, that's true.
Right? The teachers is one aspect of it, right? We have a lot of teachers, but do they even know how to use a laptop? From primary school, they don't.
I mean, we've experienced that.
Right. Okay, so the teacher
Still
is
very analog.
Yeah, the teacher aspect is one part of it. The infrastructure around the school, is there electricity and Wi-Fi in every zone within the school campus? Does every child has a laptop or a computer, or can they even afford it? Affordability comes part as well. Does the government issue aids whereby all students can have access to free laptops? Government comes in now. Okay, then you go all the way to grade 9, and then you do your WIAC. Is WIAC built to teach people about AI?
But WIAC is WIAC issue. Let's not even talk about AI.
Right.
We just talk about the way the curriculum is currently structured.
I'm talking about WIAC's infrastructure.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for your grades physically to come, do they even have a platform where you can go online and log in and see your results without having to?
They don't.
They still don't have that?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Since 2009,
Still
I
now.
can't remember.
You go to the bank, you
Pay 200 and
You go
you
to
wait.
school and
Yeah.
and then get your, I don't know, I even forgot the process.
So-
Something like that.
I'm just talking from surface level. The deeper things come in, and there's so much. Just thinking about the surface level enough should scare you. How much effort will it take to change the curriculums? So people should stop talking about change the curriculum, but come up with actual solutions of how to change the curriculums. People are very passive when it comes to ideas. Who actually acts and do something about it?
Yeah, I mean, I do see it in two ways, right? There will be the actors, and then there's those who would, I guess, suggest. For someone like me, I'm definitely with change the curriculum.
Of course.
How you do it, I don't know. That's not my field, right? You figure it out. That's what that's what you're paid to do.
Yeah.
As a WIAC body,
Can they
you're
afford it?
Huh?
Can they afford it?
I mean, where's all the money going? You know, there's a lot of money that WIAC
it's a
makes.
lot.
It's not like they're not. It's an NGO. There's a lot of money coming in. So how are they managing their money and making sure that where the education is heading, it's towards technology and towards AI? At least start integrating this within the educational system in terms of cost.
Then that suggests that maybe they need to break WIAC all in all and build it again.
I mean, we've been talking about that for a long time.
Right,
It's not
so
like even before.
Not just WIAC to put WIAC on the spotlight, but there's a lot of other examination bodies here in Africa, right?
Gambia, there's two, no?
I'm not sure. It's
Isn't
WIAC and
IGCSE?
yeah, IGCSE is okay. It's
Yeah,
not bad.
I guess it's more malleable. It's like they
Yeah.
they easily adapt.
Yeah,
You know, it's like
yeah.
things are easy to integrate and
Yeah,
remove.
I mean, unfortunately, IGCSE is really good, but then only the fortunate can afford it sometimes. So then it comes again with the barrier, right? Like how
Right.
many people can afford to go to international schools? So I definitely think there needs to be that one person or one organization who's going to fight for that curriculum change, who are going to especially be built for that. So they're going to be within the government systems and private schools and try to see how they'll find a solution, because it's not surface level. They need to figure out a whole system and strategy.
I agree. I've seen a few like a panel of WIAC individuals. Like if you look at the heads that are in WIAC, they're all very old people, right? Not to say old people don't have ideas. I'm not saying that, but if you look at how the representation in WIAC and how the education is still so archaic, everybody that has gone through WIAC understand exactly how unnecessarily complicated it can be sometimes. Like we're still learning things that have been completely discarded, everywhere else, right? But these are still things that we are learning and we are forced to know. When the real world has gone way past that, or they've debunked it, or this is not real anymore, this is not factual anymore. There's more development when it comes to to what we understand as the human species. Why is it that WAG has still not been able to catch up? Again, it could be, you have someone that has been in WAG for 40 years, 50 years, and they're still there. I mean, what else can they bring new to the table, right? Like you said, or you suggested, I think it needs a complete breakdown and rebuilding from the ground up. With fresh eyes and fresh minds.
But with support of an organization who understand how to build this, coming from a strategy point of view. But also not disregarding the experience of people that have been there for 40 years.
Of course.
Tap into it, understand what they know, help them understand that this is what is possible. With your knowledge, we can build WAEC again and then make it more modern, or any other exam body that can be rebuilt again. But I think one shortcut that all schools could apply is to embed a module called critical thinking. Right? I don't know so it's very popular in university. Critical thinking changes your perspective on how you look at things. For example, there was this popular dress online back in 2016. I don't know if you guys will remember this.
Popular dress.
Yes. Okay. The dress was actually pink or something like that, or white. But everybody's online were arguing if the dress was actually pink or blue. Because when I looked at it, it looked pink. Sorry, it looked blue, right? But a lot of other people say they're seeing pink or white. I don't know.
Are they seeing the same image?
Yeah, no, it's the same image. I think it's to do with, you guys will probably know this more with the color correction stuff. I'm not sure. But then, in reality, the picture showed blue, but it wasn't actually blue. It was another color. So for some reason, I don't know. So critical thinking allows you to break that down.
Yeah,
right?
Blue and pink in the color wheel, they're so far apart.
Well,
you can't.
Yeah, if I'm sure if you check online, you'll see it. It's this blue dress that was very popular. It was a topic everywhere. Right. You can probably tag it somewhere in the video, and then you'll definitely find it. For some reason, there was just two different perspectives. So critical thinking allows you to break down a perspective into so many different parts, and then you start to discover what could be or what could have been or what is there or what is that, right? So it creates some sort of curiosity within the mind, right? When you used to see things this way, then maybe it allows you or pushes you to start thinking things in a different way. And curiosity actually is very important in a human being when it comes to self-awareness. We were talking about this not long ago. It allows you to explore things more. For example, if you were doing science in school and you're doing critical thinking module on the side, for example, it may poke a little bit of curiosity that makes you want to find out, okay, what are actually the fields in science? What does Gambia need looking at our population? There's a huge chunk of young people. Mm-hmm. We do have a lot of old people who need healthcare. Like, what is the demand? Like these little things, the questions. Always put a question mark on anything, right? Especially when you're trying to solve a solution. Because what may look red to you could actually be blue. And how do you do that? We come back to the data. So I'll just let her talk a little bit about data and AI and all of that stuff. Maybe that would be...
Yeah.
I think with the issue of data, let's just say, use healthcare, for instance, as an example. Because what happened is you go to the healthcare, some of these hospitals, right? Let's say Canifing Hospital, for instance, right? Because I remembered some of our people from government went there to build a website for them for free. So what happened is they just, I will not say they rejected it, but in a nice way that they were not interested in tech. And I think so many people think that AI tech is overhyped in the Gambia. That is not the reality. And then what happened is, exactly, let's see how they keep their records, for instance. Like maybe they can have in an Excel file or maybe in a small database, for instance. But then the funniest thing is when those were went there, what happened was they asked them, so now what happened if the storage is full? Guess what? They just have to delete and they start recording again. So now all that data is
gone.
is gone.
So they don't have like a backup.
They don't.
There's only one.
Honestly. And then
So it's saying that if there's a record of say me at some point in time, and they need more storage, it's very likely that my data would be deleted.
Yeah.
it will be 100%. No data will be left. Like that's Gambia for us, right? And then and then when it comes to the healthcare sector,
Servers
there
are
are a
not
lot
even
of,
that expensive.
You don't even need to wear service now. We have cloud.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you, like,
just subscribe.
just subscribe and then be paying your monthly subscription. Not even expensive. But then it just goes, Gambians are reluctant to change. They don't want to learn. They are not curious. And then still speaking of the data, let's say some of these prescriptions these nurses give to patients, right? Because what happens is, don't mind me, I love the healthcare sector a lot. I just wish one day I could find a solution for them.
That's a lot of
All my
issues that
colleagues
need to
work
be
me at
fixed,
work,
yeah.
yeah. So let's say, for instance, some of these medications, prescription, because what happens is, even though you to implement AI systems in the healthcare sector, they need to be trained on specific data about the Gambian healthcare system. But then now, what happened is that data that was supposed to be used to train the AI system is not available. So now what are we going to do? We cannot take a system from States, United States, or somewhere else and then implement it in the Gambia. And then the problem is now, those that are in the top level of the healthcare system, they are not willing to know, they're not willing to understand that what we are trying to do is just to help them. Because in the future, whether we like it or not, we have to adapt. Else we will just, I don't even know how we're going to survive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they say when instances, cases like giving prescriptions to patients, right? Recording, is it their tickets? Because still now, especially Cardiff Hospital, you go there is a manual way. You go by $25, that long queue. And all that could have just been automated. You don't have to have that long queue just to see a specific doctor.
Just have a card. That,
Exactly.
you know.
And then for you to get your medicines too, you have to go to the pharmacy, that long queue again. They have to check which medications are they supposed to give you. And then what happens once you have these AI systems inbuilt in their system, or just an assistant sort of, right? Because it's just a tool. What you could do is someone is suffering from maybe malaria or diabetes or something. Before you will have that long queue for maybe looking for which type of medications to give them. You just need to write a basic prompt. And then, bam, you see the output. These are the medications that should be given to this individual. If the medicines are not available, you tell them to go and buy. Or still, the system can still tell them that you can have this chatbot that assists them. And then, still speaking of that as well, let's say, yeah, okay.
No.
Okay.
Go on.
So still now, speaking of that again, still with the data, when it comes to some medications, you go to some hospital systems that don't even know the total amount of drugs that are available for this specific medicine. They don't know. That's because the data is not available. Because one thing, in as much as we want to adapt to technology, we want to change, we want everything to be automated, data is the fundamental, is the backbone of everything.
Agreed.
So then now what happens is, if those data that we're supposed to use to automate everything is not available, what is going to happen? And then when it comes to the, I guess there is a very sensitive aspect I want to mention, but I'm not sure if it is right to mention. So
This is uncensored.
I only hope YouTube will not censor it.
You screw YouTube.
But
They won't let them.
that's to demonetize the
Exactly.
platform.
That's fine. We have Twitter. We have Elon.
Exactly.
We posted there.
I know, right? So let's say when it comes to the medication, that is the medicines that will be available in the healthcare sector. You see, maybe, I don't know how the importation of drugs comes in, right? You see, sometimes they don't even have the actual record of total drugs that they have in place. So what happens is, that's why when you go to the hospital systems, there are some medicines that are very, very important. Let's say those medications that are supposed to cure diabetes for those critical sicknesses. But then they will think that they even have it in their store or they're in stock. All of a sudden, it's out of stock. So now what do? That patient will lie on that bed for God knows when they're going to get that medicines. And then all that will not have happened if the data was in place. All you need to do is just, because everything will be stored within a database, just write your query, then you know what is available, what is not available. And then one thing you guys were mentioning about the, let's say the education system, everything, like the curriculum has to be changed 100%. And then, because one thing, the saddest thing is, once you go to the village, maybe in the combos here, people are used to seeing laptops, like advancement in technology, maybe just a little, even though it is so minimal. But you go to the village. Sometimes when I go during it with my laptop, like it's like you call the entire village to come and watch the laptop that I'm having. So like you try to explain to them, like these are tools that can help you to boost your knowledge, your ideas, get whatever you want to do. And then I will say a very big thank you to MRC Holland. Although, let's say the government should have tried a little bit better than them, but MRC is just doing a lot. Because what happened in our village, it's in CRR, Nyani, very far from here, right? But now what happened is MRC Holland deemed it necessary they have to build a computer lab for the village. But now guess what happened? The computer lab is there, everything is available, but there's no one to operate them.
Yeah, you need capacity for
Exactly. So that is
That's
the
what
issue.
Exactly.
So now the capacity is not there. And then now, what do we think can we do? So I even discussed this with her. I was like, we have this computer, but I don't know what to do. And I really want to help my village because I'm from there. I know how it feels not to be aware. And then the saddest thing is Gambians, they don't even want people to teach them. Like they feel that arrogance in them. So you're like, let's say now one thing that we can do then is maybe to at least take some of those teachers that are there, maybe online lectures, or teach them about how to operate these basic computers. But then that was even a problem.
Yeah.
So then, and then now, the other thing was you have to organize maybe on weekends, you go there, but even go, the turnout is very low. People will, like, it's just so sad. I don't even know where to start. I've always been having this discussion with her that I just don't know not how to give back, because I know in the long run I will obviously give back to them. But then let's say the young ones that are coming, how will I help them to make sure they understand that technology, this thing called AI, is real? Like it's just not hyped. These are just not hallucinations.
Right.
But then, like, I don't know.
I'll tell you a story. Can I come in?
Sure.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, speaking of the young generation nowadays, because let's say the older generation, it's hard for you to tell them, yo, the technology now, it's way bigger than just let's write this on a paper and do this. Let's say in your village you have computers, you want to help them, but the turnout is bad. But I feel like now, when we were speaking of the education system, I think we need to focus on changing the education system format, you understand? Then we start using intelligence, you understand what I mean? I feel like when we do that, the youngins, let's say they start from grade 1, grade 2, grade till 12, what's the name again? They are with the AI system now, with the technology now. I think it will be way easier
From grassroots, get familiar with it from grassroots.
I think it will be way easier, because if you want to focus on the elders, you will really.
I mean, I even think sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be a wide curriculum. Just like how in school we have certain subjects that are not recognized. But IT, for example, I don't know now, but IT is not something you take usually. If
Like a must, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a must. You can drop it. I mean, does
It's
why
not a core subject.
Yeah, it's not a core subject. Why doesn't it even offer exams for IT? No, from what I remember, I'm not sure if that's still the case.
I don't know.
But I know in my
When I was
school days
graduating, that was still the case.
there was no work.
Yeah,
There's
there
no
was no
IT in
IT.
work. So if you're doing IT, it was really just for the school that was offering it.
yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wide curriculum in the beginning. Schools can just integrate this within the education system, just like how you have IT, how you have PE. PE is not a
exactly.
subject you go
just
and
one
take an
module
exam.
of it. Yeah, just one module.
See, so that's a start. And I think for schools to do this is not that difficult. Right? Primary school, junior school, high school, you don't need someone with a master's degree or a PhD. Any university student should be able to handle these basic, just basic concepts of what these things are. They can teach this to students. So there is a bigger change that needs to be done within the WIAC system, but also schools. If I were to build a school today, right? You know about Art Astra, Elon school.
Oh yeah.
Where it's it's not a conventional way of how schools are structured. Students learn based on how good they are. It's not like not all of them are grouped into the same. Here it's like everybody's pushed. Either you fail or you pass. If you pass, you move together as a group. If you fail, you probably repeat it. Not factoring in individuals are different. People are slower, some are faster. It's like a variation. There's a different variation. So if I were to start a school today, These are things I'll just introduce because why not?
No, I mean, schools are actually introducing it, but it's the 1%, right? When you look at some of the very advanced schools here in the Gambia, not to mention names, they're actually embedding these things into their schools, some of the international schools that we all already know, because they know where the future is heading. So when you're talking about schools, you have to divide it. You have to talk about the international schools, well, actually maybe into three. You have to talk about international schools, the private schools, and the government-run schools, right? When it comes to the government-run schools, decisions are made in a protocol format, right? So decisions come from top down,
Right.
right? So anybody who's trying to do this need to follow this protocol. Start from the top, convince them enough for them to go down, right? From private schools, maybe you speak to the private owners, right? Talk to them, even offer them free lessons, invite them for free coffee, tell them about the importance of it. That could be one way. For the international schools, you don't need to even tell them, because probably most of those parents are already tech savvy and they understand where technology is heading. But when it comes to the community-wise, you were talking about something. I remember when I was in Dawes, right? Because I was in Dawes all the way to grade 9. There was this AC mechanic guy that used to be outside, like on the highway, opposite Hotel School. This was like 2005, 6, around that time, long time ago. And I remember after school, he would stand at the junction, and then there used to be an Ebe seller and a mint seller, Minty Banta, and all those things. And he would do quizzes every evening, like after 5 when we all go off from school. And he would ask random questions about science, English, this, that, and that. And whenever you answer the question right, history, whatever, he will give you a gift. Like he'll buy you Ebe or he'll buy you mint, those type of things. And he used to really, really, really like me. At that time, I didn't think I was very smart. I just went to school and came back. But then he built that interest in me. I've never said the story. He built that interest in me to even believe in myself more, that I'm actually capable of doing something. You're talking about the art Astra thing, right? So you could compare that to that, because he made me feel that, okay, I have capabilities, right? But I needed to be motivated by something. Maybe I liked Minty Banta at that time. I don't know, right? And that's what made me even like be more serious about myself and where I wanted to go. Because there were a lot of other kids that were answering questions. He would ask about, where is South Africa located? Of course it's in South Africa, right? And then I'll answer. Or he will ask you the city of this country, because I used to be really good at that Atlas. You guys remember the Atlas book?
Yeah.
You open it, tell me where the city is, I'll tell you. Like, I was very good at that. So those things like made me really believe that I had capabilities to achieve more, even though I was an average student. But when I get really motivated, I do really well. So I found out that that was the way I like to be motivated one way or another. So going back to the schools, you have a problem at hand. Kids are not interested, adults are not interested. Maybe a solution that you could have is to have some incentives for kids.
Right.
Maybe every weekend you go there with a caravan, talk to some NGO, raise some funds. Every lesson, I mean every day, anyone who comes or performs better in school gets something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that kid would tell another kid, hey, boy, like, I was at the computer lab.
I understand that feeling, yeah.
You know what I mean? Being a kid, it's
Yeah,
very
sure.
exciting. Next thing, your name is going to be all around the village, right? And one day, if you ever do that, invite me. I want to come over.
No problem. Sure.
They can have my knowledge for free.
I will definitely
The little
issue this.
I know. So Lolu will that will make you so popular amongst kids, and it will spark an interest that was never there.
Mhm.
And then what will happen next is parents will now be like, hey, I need to take my kid here. Like, I heard kids are doing really well here. So sometimes you have to have incentives when you want change. That's why most managers in banks get bonuses at the end of the year. It's the same concept, so that they can perform better next time.
That's true.
That's how humans are driven by motivating
Rewards.
factors.
And
Like,
talking about motivation, I think that is where the family or parents comes into play. Let's talk about our region here in the Combos. How many primary school kids are actually having smartphones now?
Yeah, almost
A lot.
everybody.
Almost
Everybody,
a lot.
yeah.
Almost everybody.
yeah.
My cousin is 11 years old, and just the past 2 weeks, the mom bought her a smartphone.
Why?
11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But then now, you get your kid a device. It's not just about, okay, Sumadom, I'm dinner now.
What are they?
That is not a show off.
Yeah.
How is the kid using that phone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
4-year-old kids can get into TikTok, play music, post, dance, and then you post on TikTok. 4-year-old kids can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even
Yeah,
know.
but no one is monitoring them on how to use these devices. You have to monitoring kids. You're like what he said. If your kid is not doing well in math, you have to know why the kid is not doing well in math. What are some of the things that the kid is interested in? Let us try to push that or motivate the kid towards
What
doing
they're
that.
interested, yeah.
That is how white people do it. If you're interested in dancing, they take you to a dance class. You're interested into music, they make sure you get into the school choir. But then parents are just not interested in their kids' performance nowadays. That is the honest fact. What matters is let them wake up in the morning, dress up, go to school, they come back. As long as they are giving you time to do whatever is it that you're doing, you just don't care.
Yeah. Parents don't just want to spend the time to raise kids anymore.
Exactly.
Because it makes it, bringing. I mean, I see this all the time, and I do have an issue with introducing technology to kids. It depends on what kind of technology you're introducing to school, because there is a danger to social media and just other technologies that you're introducing to kids. And it's been proven that the kids, I can't remember the exact age, but introducing them to like screens but there's a type of light that the screens emit that is really, really harmful for their eyes. It also affects brain development, which is actually crazy if you think about it, right? But now you have parents, a child as young as 3 months, 4 months old, you take on you jail benafun, take on kanam tal pok a coco melon, right? And like the whole day, and people don't sit and wonder like, why is this child so hooked to this cartoon? They have no idea. They don't understand concepts. Talk less of. I mean, if I'm watching a movie, I would have to understand it really to like be engaged, to like focus, right? But you have a child who has no idea what's happening in the world, but they're so hooked. Why? Like, we don't ask these questions.
It's because of the options we made available to them. If I was younger, I would actually want to read more books. Right? For me, now I learn more through listening, like
Podcast.
podcast, audiobooks, right?
Yeah.
Because I had a speech disability when I was much younger. I used to stutter a lot. Even to read a sentence was a problem all the way to high school. So reading books and exposing myself to other perspectives and things made me change the way I think. So instead of giving them cocomelon, maybe from young, because they learn from you, right? You're holding your phone all the time as a parent, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. They also want to know what you're looking at, right? Maybe if you really want to watch TikTok, you can hold the book and have your phone in there. And they wouldn't really know that you're watching TikTok.
Yeah.
But get them exposed to what you want them to. Because kids learn from the environment that they're brought in. Even if you think you know or not. They will learn, they will watch, they will listen. Right? So I think parenting is very difficult. But if you really know the importance of parenting right, you will do it right while you have the chance to do it, because the moment it's gone haywire, you have
It's a very small window.
Yeah.
It's a very, very
small window.
And what even we don't even put into consideration is the fact that as early as 1 year, 2 years, that is when the kid's brain starts to develop. Now, exposing the kid to TikTok or Instagram Reels, what this does is, I was reading this article just a few weeks ago, it reduces your attention span.
It does.
So TikTok is maximum, I guess, 3 minutes, I'm not sure. You just scroll.
Now it's more
Instagram
than that.
reads. It's more than that.
more than that.
Instagram reads like you are just scrolling, so your brain gets used to that. Now, when I read this, I was just trying to connect the dots. No wonder why kids can no longer sit for 30 minutes and study. Because the brain is so used to
It's
watching
like quick,
short
quick,
stuff.
quick. They
Yeah.
need the
Like
doses.
we no longer read books. We no
Yeah.
anything that is beyond 30 minutes, we are no longer interested. Podcast, we don't watch. So that is the damage it causes to the brain. So as early as 1 year, 2 years, we should be introducing things like problem solving, that Lego game. Just give it to a kid. Let them try to solve it. These are basic things that actually helps in the brain development of the kids.
I am with you. Definitely, when it comes to that, give them puzzles.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. That's what
things that would stimulate
Yeah.
their creative minds. But I guess another thing is if we want to introduce tech into their lives, like using games, there are games that you can play, but it's teaching you how to program.
Educated.
Right? These type of games. But then again, like how do you introduce that to a child with a device, knowing how, kids are very inquisitive creatures. They would.
I think it's an unsolved question, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
Parenting
Parenting is it's becoming more difficult.
it's becoming, and
It's-
the wrong
it's
people are
becoming a lot
becoming
more
parents
difficult.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have wrong parents.
Yeah, and that's I guess that's the issue. But there's so many issues, so many layers that we have to address from the home, on a social level, education, government policies, infrastructure. There's just so many layers that needs to be fixed. But for example, in the village, in my estimate, I think it's easier to introduce certain things in the village because they're still very fresh.
Yeah, sure.
In the combos here, like they were saying, almost every kid has a smartphone now. Their brains are kind of wired to prefer consuming content over creating content, right? And most of the time, when you see kids creating content, is that attention, the likes, that they're craving. It's not really for productive reasons. So in the village, like this, it's CRR you said, right?
Yeah.
It will be easier to introduce the concepts of AI because it's a very fresh population. They have not been exposed to all these different social medias, all these distractions. So I think it's easier to mold their minds, and this is where I think you should definitely do something with the idea if you have to give back. There's a small window because technology do expand. It's not going to just stop within the combos. I mean, if you go to Basse right now, Basse is like any other modern town, right? But a lot of people tell them Basse in their minds like a village. Even that's the kind of mentality that I had. But when I went to Basse, there are better roads than we do.
Sure.
Right? So you understand, it's as much as we want to empower villages through technology, we also have to recognize the dangers with it. If not, we're just going to repeat exactly the issues we have in combo here. So you should do something now that there's time, there's not a lot of distractions there. Like he's saying, that is something I would also be okay with jumping on in any way that I can help, right? Yeah. Anyways, let's go back to you. You were talking about junior in AI engineering, you said, or something?
Yeah.
I want to hear more about it because I before I forget.
Yeah, so basically what happened is, I guess all of you guys know GoMinds, right? GoMinds Inc., like it's actually a data and then AI company, right? So basically what happened is previously, with the previous year, that was, yes, I can say last year and then year before last, because what happened was we were more into software development and then analytics, right? So what happened is maybe we build some applications for specific individuals and then, but sometimes, like it's not marketable, but then Gambians are just not in for digital stuff. So that becomes a problem. And then later on, we were into data analytics, right? That's when where we have the data team, right? Working with data, collect different data, clean it, and then do some visualizations to solve some problems rather. But then the saddest thing is most of the data that we deal with are not Gambian data.
Yeah.
Because in the country, we don't even have a data For instance, you go to GBOS, for instance, like when I was a student at the university, you go there to request for a data, like you be going there today, tomorrow, they be giving you dates, and then when you go, they just give you mere pieces of paper. And that is something that you need to use to solve a specific problem based on your research or whatever, right? So it becomes a problem. You go online into their website, like it is just crazy. So what happens is sometimes what we do is we customize some of the data we have to make it Gambian context a little bit so that it makes sense, right? We build dashboards and then approach some stakeholders, present to them, they're okay with it, then they can give us access to their data. Because the trust is not there. Like Gambians don't trust people with their data. Even go to an organization, you want to build a system for them, automate everything, there are records for them, but they're like, they're just so
Is it
sick with
maybe it's because it sounds so far-fetched that they don't understand? I mean, it's hard to embrace something you don't understand.
Yeah.
And if you have a system that, in your view, works for you, why should you change? It's like reinventing the wheel.
Honestly.
To them, like they have a system, to them works for them, to them it's efficient, but objectively it's not. It's how do you get individuals like that don't understand? I mean, you have, I don't want to name names. You started that, but you have directors of big tech companies that don't even know how to install Microsoft Word.
I'm telling you, like,
Right?
I think the mindset problem, that is another big problem in the Gambia here.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of that, like, we had a deal with NCCRM. It's actually an organization under the Office of the Vice President here. So what happened is we had a training with them about data. Because what happened is, C and I, we went for the training and two other gentlemen. So what happened was, and then these people had analysts of 15 years, 10 years above experience. Like, don't be bothered by the number of years. Because whatever we were supposed to conduct a training with them, how to clean their data, visualize, because we wanted to build a system for them, right? A data portal system for them that can collect data, clean their data, and visualize data for them so that they can make decisions. Because what happens is they send these early warning messages to most of these industries, like the healthcare sector, most of the big ministries in the country. So what happened was when we went there, these people are people of 15 years, 10 years experience, right? And they're analysts. You have the health, environment, different analysts, right? But then this will be even to even extend some column heads in Excel, like, was a problem. So we thought we were dealing with some big systems trying to implement AI, like just showing them stuff, because we thought that they already graduate from that basic level. But unfortunately, it was not the case. We had to go with them how to even insert some of these data into Excel, how to extend the rows, how to the columns, and then how to add some calculated fields, how to visualize in Excel and then in Tableau, right? That was just something crazy, right?
In short, we have analysts in this country with over 10 years experience that don't even know how to use Excel.
Yeah, it's insane. It's we have that problem. We have a problem of data collection and availability of data. How do we reconcile that with building AI tools that needs large amounts of data to learn? Like what do you even build when there's no data available?
And that is the problem we are facing right now. So
Honestly, yeah.
as AI engineers, we identify some problems that we really want to solve. But then the problem is with the data.
There's no data.
So let's say if it is a finance, if it is a problem in the finance industry that we are trying to solve, which we are right now, where do we get the data? So the best format of data that you can receive from this country, especially in government institutions, is in PDF.
Yeah.
How do you make sense of that? So that is a huge setback for us. Now, the knowledge is there, the expertise is there, the talent is there. At least we are managing with the little resources that we have. But where do we get the data?
We need a sweep in most of these institutions. We need people like Babakar, people like you. Again, this is not to diss old people or elderly people. Like they've served, they have wealth of knowledge, but you get to a certain age or a certain stage, you need fresh minds around you. You need people like you. You need some individuals like you. They're still needed, because of the experience they have. They are more rational in their thinking. They are not very, like young people have this kind of fiery, like we're very easily excited, right? Sometimes it's not the best thing to have when it comes to decision making. So you need a more calm, a more experience, and usually you'd find that in elderly people. So they definitely do have a place. But if we're trying to get or compete, I mean, look at Senegal. They just launched a satellite in space. Right?
Honestly.
That's our neighbor right here. Let's not even think about the rest of the world. We're talking about Senegal launching a satellite in space. Like, just think of the achievement. Imagine Gambia in the news tomorrow. They say Gambia has launched a satellite into space.
Wow.
Like, just think about that for a minute, right?
Pretty interesting.
It would be an amazing achievement for Gambia. But that is so far into the future that we can't even see it. Talk less of
And one thing is,
trying to achieve it.
see out there, it's kind of like they've exhausted the data that they have. They really need data. That is why most of these big tech players, they are coming back to Africa. Google, as we speak, they already have an office in Senegal. They are based in
In the
Nigeria.
Jamnajo, I think is it the new
Jamnajo.
Jamnajo, right?
Yeah.
So they're in Senegal, they're in Nigeria, they're in Ghana. What are they there for? It's not
Data.
because of the infrastructure. It's not because of nothing. It's the data. The thing is not it's not that we don't have the data. The question is,
We are not collecting it. How do we collect it?
how do we collect it, and how are we managing the data that we have? That is the big problem.
You guys are talking about a very complex topic right
I
now.
know.
I know, right?
That's why
I
I'm
know.
just quiet. I'm like just wondering the obstacles.
Where do we even start?
Obstacles that are ahead, which are clearly so visible. It makes anyone with that knowledge to want to go somewhere else to get hired. Talking about the brain drain. But I'm a very optimistic person. I want to believe that eventually these things will change, because I know a few people within these organizations that are bringing up younger minds. Maybe not at the rate that it's supposed to be, but eventually those people will get to make those decisions to get the right people in to support who already exist in those organizations.
We pray that they are not turned by the time they get to that day. Because, it is, there are certain kind of mentalities and behavioral patterns that are very, they're very infectious, I would say. Because if you stay in a place that have a different type of work culture, a different kind of structure, you might come in fresh, driven, wanting to do certain things,
true.
but by the time you're in that position to, to make those decisions, like you've been battered down so much that it's like you don't even care anymore. Because that's what I see sometimes. Like, for example, look at Gamtel. Gamtel could have been like literally the gateway for technology, not just internet,
100%.
right? But what has Gamtel done? Telephones, fine, they're the pioneers of telephones in Gambia, but
a lot need to change in short.
these are
the
things
question
that and where I'm seeing it, I'm hearing Gamtel, they're trying to sell it or something.
The $300 million is dead.
Like, why? It's
that debt first.
but anyway.
Well, I mean, when you're buying a company, based on my finance background, you can buy a company with debt, but it is some serious negotiations there. Debt doesn't always have to be like, you can be in debt with money, but maybe you have assets, right, that you can liquidate. But you cannot afford to liquidate those assets and then sit down and be like, okay, I've sold all my antennas, now I'm ready to start.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You don't do that, right?
It doesn't work.
So I'm sure there will be someone just like, other companies that have gone through similar experiences. They've had investors. So I think if it's bought by the right person, they could revamp it because it has a unique opportunity. Gamtel is a national pride, It has so much potential, and I think there's still opportunity to tap into this potential because of the pride that the government has around Gamtel. So eventually, if picked up by the right team, they have so much opportunity to exploit what Gamtel has already in place.
And even in terms of like infrastructure. I don't think there's any ISP in Gambia that has the kind of infrastructure Gamtel has, like poles.
Oh, they're the
in-
landlords. They're the landlords.
Yeah,
They're the landlords.
they've embedded themselves in the system for so long that it just needs better management. And I mean, you look at places like the West where you have cable, which has internet, both internet, satellite TV, and then telephone. Like this is something Gamtel could easily do. Charge a fixed amount. I use Gamtel here. It's fast. It's
right.
way more affordable than any other private companies' services around. They just need to have a better management. Like when the internet goes down,
Customer care.
Customer care is
Customer care.
terrible.
Customer care.
It's terrible.
It goes back to incentives. Why are they not performing? Who is running it? Are they being incentivized like they're supposed to be incentivized? Because, you can't just say that, okay, someone's just lazy, they don't want to do any work. Do they have a deeper reason to want to even die for that company?
I think, when you're being paid to do a job, right? You're hired, you're paid, you have bonuses at the end of the month, you're having benefits. There shouldn't be another incentive. The mere fact that you're hired.
Are they having that? That's the question.
I mean,
For example, let's say if you're a manager and then you're told, okay, you get paid fixed regardless if you make us 100 million or not, right? Are those policies in place?
I mean, you look at the mismanagement of funds in Gamtel. All you have to go is just go to the National Audit Office. They have like a whole database on funds that have been mismanagement within government and parastatal. There's money there. Like I have a friend that works in the finance department. Like the heads are traveling all the time. They're having ridiculous amounts of per diems, right? It's not like they're not being paid. They are definitely being paid. I mean, you have someone driving a $4-5 million car, right? You have a house that you live in. You're having free internet. These are all benefits that you're getting.
Right.
There's no reason why you shouldn't do your job.
Well, yeah, maybe it's my lack of awareness and disinterest with. Maybe I'm so involved in the entrepreneurship space, I don't even look at that. But what you're just saying, it makes sense.
And I think Gamtel is, in my estimate, would have to be the forefront to make sure that we have a very stable internet infrastructure for AI to really thrive. The private sector, they are not really interested in that kind of development. They're trying to make as much money as possible. But Gamtel is in a really good position.
Unique opportunity.
They have a unique opportunity, but we need better management. Gambia has some problems at all.
So
we can
how
talk
long
about them.
until we are going to retain the little talent that we have? Because as we speak,
People are leaving.
Opportunity to Silicon Valley.
People are leaving.
I'm leaving.
People are going to Senegal right now. Jamnajo is there's a lot of names, but Jamnajo, the other name that it has, like the tech valley for Senegal.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of tech companies are, even Microsoft is they have a headquarters in Jamnajo. UN, they have a huge office in Jamnajo, right? They have a whole IT department that is purposely there to assess the UN, the government to build IoT tools, right? And this is just Senegal. It's just right here. Jamnajo is 4 or 5 hours drive. What is Gambia doing?
And I think one major problem about the Gambia is, let's say, it's the government, the system itself. Let's say, for instance, like you an individual, right? You want to have your startup, let's say a tech startup. Because what I mean, these people, they kill you indirectly. Let's say what I mean by the financially, for instance, because that's what we are going through right now. Because I'm the one managing our finance, payment stuff, and all these other bills. Because in as much as you want to have your startup here or your big company in the future here and then help your country, give back to your nation, but then what happens if the policies are not in support of startups, are not in support of entrepreneurs that are willing to change the country? Let's say, for instance, some of these, what is the name again? The tax, let's say, forget about the renters, the tax, like these documents, every now and then people will come, you need to get this document. Just registration is this, claims, this and that. Like, it's a lot. Sometimes I even get confused with
It's not friendly for startup.
Honestly,
there's no support when it comes to startups.
Exactly.
You don't have to necessarily give them money, but there's so many policies that you can pass that would assist them and encourage. If someone has, like China, for example, they don't let a good business fail. government would always subsidize.
Honestly.
It's very rare for you to hear China, this company has been shut down, right? Maybe they will arrest the head or they will do something, but for you to hear a whole company that is like very successful shut down, it's almost unheard of. It's impossible because they
China is
understand.
fine. Let's look at Rwanda.
Even Rwanda, they
I
have
heard
in
it takes
this
just
similar.
24 hours for you to register a business in Rwanda.
Yeah,
Just 24
here you have to
hours.
run to KMC. Once you're done with KMC, you have to go to
Yeah.
GRE. When you're done with GRE, you have to go to the bank. You have to.
It could be more efficient.
It's not efficient
And
at all.
Babakar mentioned incentives, and I was just thinking, how many students do the government sponsor every year to go and study outside? How many of those students come back every year? You talked of incentives. Asia, this is how they do it. They have incentives. They make sure they give scholarship to their best students, go to the US, study. But then you have to come back. They give you incentives. They give you a house. They give you car.
Everything.
Work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what
They
they
have
do is,
fixed
let's say
cities
if you study, let's say automotive engineering, you come back, they have to create that space where you are going to apply those skills.
Yeah.
So let's say probably you are going to work in a factory, or let's say a made-up factory where you are going to model a car. So there you are going to apply that knowledge that you've learned. If it works, then come on, let us establish a company.
I mean, we're talking about countries that would want to retain their talent. I mean, in Gambia, we're hearing the Gambian government, I think, is collaborating with what country again to send Gambians to go and work?
I think it's Spain.
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 No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Italy,
you
sorry.
think Spain is going to take anyone? Spain is going to take the best of the best. It's for
It's farming.
it doesn't matter what it is. We need if Gambia needs anything more than anything else, it's food security, right? You should not take the best of Gambians to go and work outside.
You know,
It makes no sense.
Definitely.
But again,
you get told you're going to work. What are the conditions? How much are you gonna get paid? If you work 16 hours in Gambia and you work 16 hours in EU with this type of deal, is it even better to go, or is it better to even stay?
I mean, on an individual basis, I would go.
But lack of information. Is information being shared? Exactly what type of job? How much are they going to get paid? What are the benefits they're going to have? Where they're going to live? What are the behind the curtain conversations people need to? And this brings me back to lack of curiosity and being naive. As Gambians, we're very naive.
But what you have to understand is that nowadays our generation, the mindset is like Gambia easy, we won't make it. So me personally right now, if I was called Chase and Nakala Spain, then I ligay. Spain la. We believe that Spain is a country whereby so egg next year danga dawal moto danga tabakir. I don't even need to ask question. Ligay la. This is my passport, the phlegm. So you understand what I mean? So the reason
It does not help. Come Lona can explain. Like, it does not help that the government is involved in trying to facilitate this. People want to leave.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gambia mburu minus is $20. Just empty mburu ag minus is $20.
And then
Right?
You used to have nen and everything.
You used to have eggs and pompiter and minus jimbo like a ketchup or like a stuff. But now it's just bro minus is $20.
let's just speak of internship, for instance. You have people that will go study abroad, let's say Ghana or other countries, for instance. But then what happens is those people, they don't give you internship in their country. So they send you back to your home country to do internship and then return back. So you, as a citizen, as a young Gambian, you come back here, people don't give you internship. You go to ports, you go to Nawe, you go to other companies, they don't give you internship.
Because it's what is it? It's
Honestly, it's not even paying. It's just internship for the person to get the experience, and then that will enable them to apply what they have learned from their various field of studies. But like a country that doesn't even offer internship, will they give you a better job?
You know, there's a book by Gary Vaynerchuk called Jab, 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 Right Hook, right? So I talked about this.
Yeah, last time I checked it online. It's really interesting.
So this is the second time we're on a panel about AI, by the way. Me and these girls, right? A couple of weeks ago. Yeah, right? So we've had this conversation. So sometimes I feel like in this type of economy, you have to be very creative, especially if you come from a scholarship and you want a job, right? Like if I was in that position and I was that desperate and I didn't have any other opportunity but to work and find a job within the government, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put my ego aside and be like, Uncle, some high ute, some high nala make coffee every morning. Feel like talk. To buge paper, my printer. How desperate are we as well?
That's not Gambia.
Hmm?
That is not Gambia.
Yeah. So you know,
You have that in Senegal.
when I was in university, I had 3 jobs at the same time, and I would wake up in the morning at 8
Yeah.
a.m. and go to uni, and then after that, immediately I'll go and deliver Chinese food, and then after that, I'll go. I don't even need to go further, but I wanted something, and then I made sure that whatever way for me to get it, I'll get it regardless, right?
Yeah.
So, how hungry are we as young people as well? That's a question.
That's a
Right, you may say that okay, yeah, like there are no jobs, like experience.
There's a lot of
2
problems.
weeks ago,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I put out a job posting on my WhatsApp. I've had 50 or 60 people call me. I picked out that one lucky guy and be like, "You can come tomorrow morning at 9 a.m." The guy didn't show up,
Oh.
and people are still calling me for this job.
Yeah, it reminds me
So
of.
there's two, like, that's why I've been very quiet and I'm observing, because yes, there's this side of things,
Yeah.
but then there's the other side as well.
Like Dr. Ismail usually say, he say, we don't have unemployability problem, but
Unemployable.
an unemployable, like are they
Yeah.
really
employable. Yeah, sure.
That's the
fine.
issue.
And
It-
also another thing is this whole thing of validation. You go outside, you study, you come back, you want to be
Yeah.
seen as that big
Yeah.
guy.
Right.
And our CEO usually says this. He said, "You want to start something in this country?
Mhm.
He doesn't care where you come from.
Yeah,
You have to take off all that pride, all those degrees or all of those
course.
hours that you come with,
of course.
Yeah.
and you start like an average
Of
Gambian."
course.
Yeah.
Of course. People don't. care.
Gambia is an entitled. We have an entitled mentality.
Mhm.
It reminds me of what Fadi said. He said there's this guy that has been, wanting a mentor. Like he's been asking, like, I like you, want you to mentor me, whatnot. And he agreed, was like, okay, no problem. Come to my office at 7 a.m. And the guy's like, bro, it's 7 a.m.
but-
where-"
That's why
Like-
like we have a huge problem. That's why for me, I'm very liberal with these things. I don't play the blame game,
Yeah.
right? You look at things as it is. The issue is you give someone a job who's been following you for 6 months, and then you give them a job, they will not come on time.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, oh, like there wasn't water in the house for me to, take a shower to come to work. Oh, and then maybe they're supposed to start at 9. They'll come at 9 and they'll eat breakfast till 10 a.m. And then when it's 5 p.m. when they're supposed to go off, by 4:30, they're getting ready to leave. So it's a deep problem. As young people, I just have to say, we have problems too.
Of course.
right.
Sure.
We
Right?
definitely
Like,
do.
are we hungry? Like,
We definitely do.
so I hear a lot of people talk about, oh, youth, this, youth, that. Being a youth, you have to be accountable
Yeah.
for your mistakes. And you need to put your ego aside when people are telling you that, hey, like, you need to fix this.
And that is a Gambian problem. Our pride.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I
Right? So as
agree.
much as the left wing is doing whatever they're doing, we also need to show them that we're serious enough for them to take us serious. If we don't take ourselves serious, nobody will take us serious. Being the government, being it even our parents, being it especially the ones from outside.
Yeah.
Will they take us serious?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. On that
So-
note,
Mm-hmm.
this is definitely a conversation we should revisit again to talk about the issues with the youths, because like you said, we do have a lot of problems. We have ego problems, we have commitment problems, we have the need to learn problems.
Right.
There's just so
Say that
many
again,
issues
please.
that we have to definitely address, and I think it's easier for youths to gravitate towards that if it's coming from individuals like ourselves. I think that is to go and that you want to
Yeah.
forget it, forget it,
Yeah.
right? But if we're the ones that are
Yeah.
talking about this, I think it might change your mind.
Then
also.
reality hits then.
Yeah. Then reality hits.
Yeah,
like
reality
this is,
hits home hard.
This is real.
Yeah.
So on that note, we would close it here. I wish we would gone a little bit further on AI and technology, but that's also a rabbit hole that never ends.
Yeah.
But I truly appreciate you guys coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.